to Kansas, gateway to Oz. Under the rainbow, this is where it was. Hollyhocks and red ripe tomatoes, hand-churned homemade ice cream. Let me tell you, Kansas is more than tornadoes. It's the best part of Dorothy's dream.
Today Around Kansas first shares the story of Quindaro, a town in the area originally purchased by the Wyandot Indians from the Delaware in what is now Kansas City. Next, learn about United Mosquito and Fly Control in Mission and the newly opened Evel Knievel Museum in Topeka. We'll end with Melissa Rau, a sculptor of life-sized historic figures. Closed captioning brought to you by Ag Promo Source. Together we grow. Learn more at agpromosource.com. This segment brought to you by Brown Chevrolet Buick in Wamego, just a short drive down the Yellow Brick Road. Good Wednesday morning. I'm Frank.
I'm Deb.
And this is Around Kansas. Isn't nap time yet?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we've been up for a while, so it ought to be time for the first nap of the day.
Yeah.
We want to point out that right behind us, we, of course, are in the historic Dillon House right across from the state capitol. And Hiram Price Dillon has returned to the building. So he is right behind us, and the portrait of his wife, Susie, is on the opposite mantel. And don't they make it look homey in here?
Mm-hmm.
I
Yes,
think they would be very happy. And speaking of returning to the building, we were just talking about Elvis, and there was a photograph making the rounds on Facebook the other day, and it was a picture of a crowd at Graceland. And there was a guy in the crowd that is supposed to be Elvis. If you aged him, it's like that's what he would look like at 82 years old. Number one, I'm thinking that the guy doesn't look 82, but he's this kind of heavy, like almost a Santa Claus looking guy. He's got a white beard and sunglasses, and it looks like he might even be wearing his pajama pants. They're like plaid pants, so it might even be flannel pajama pants. And that's not funny enough, but the responses of the people, it was like, if I had been there, I would have recognized him. He wouldn't have gone unnoticed by me. And I'm like, number one, it looks nothing like Elvis. Number two, it looks like half the men in America right now with the beard and the, and I'm like, the insanity. And though Dina Anson and I do celebrate Elvis's birthday every year, but we're not to be confused with the other nutcases who think that they saw Elvis there in the crowd at Graceland.
Oh, when we were there several years ago, they wouldn't let you go to the second level because they said Elvis is up there taking a nap. So anyway.
What nuts.
I mean, you got to go to Graceland.
I wrote my name on the wall. I didn't have time to go inside.
What wall did you write?
Right there in front of in front of the yard.
Oh, yeah?
That wall, that keeps people off the yard. So it's not a huge wall. It's not like the wall Trump is going to build or like the Wailing Wall or whatever, but it's a pretty good sized wall. Not like the Great Wall of China or
I
anything.
wasn't there when we were there. I don't recall
Are you
that
sure?
at all.
Oh, there were names. It was full of names. It was full. That's because you paid the price to get in. Me, I'm just one of the cheap people standing out, one of the poor, pathetic people that's weeping beside the wall, and writing their names on it. But
so you didn't get to see the Jungle Room or any of that?
No.
My.
Yes, it's on my bucket list to go back.
Down in the Jungle Room. Whose song is that? I can't remember. I should know.
And I collect graves, and that's one that I haven't been to. It's Elvis's grave, so I got to do that one. There was a comedian in the South. I can't think of his name, but he was talking about visiting Graceland and talking about seeing the pink Cadillac, and he said, "I didn't know Elvis sold Mary Kay," and it was just.
Oh, that's good.
It was. He did a whole bit on Graceland, and it was pretty good, pretty darn good.
So.
Well, I don't think Elvis is going to show up in our show today, but you never know.
Yeah.
Never know. Pay attention. Look closely in all those little frames. You might give him.
There might be something appearing right here,
Yeah, there might be.
So
stay with us and find out.
I think we'll be back. Watch Ag AM in Kansas online at agaminkansas.com.
Valley Vet Supply is devoted to providing information and professional quality products at reasonable prices.
Valley Vet Supply.
Ag Promo Source is a unique group of marketing specialists with one mission: help your ag business grow. Each affiliate has their own area of expertise, and they work together to bring you advice, products, and services. To get started, visit agpromosource.com. Ag Promo Source. Together we grow.
Brown Chevrolet Buick in Wamego is driven by the spirit of American ingenuity. Come in for a new Chevrolet car, truck, or SUV. If we don't have exactly what you want, we'll find it for you. And we also have a great selection of used cars. We make sure you have an easy, fun, and transparent sales experience that saves you time and money. But if you want high-pressure salesmen and hours spent in the finance office, you'll just have to go elsewhere. Brown Chevrolet Buick in Wamego. We're making car buying great again.
This segment brought to you by Kansas Regenerative Medicine Center. Your stem cells, your health, your life.
Welcome back. I want to tell you about this next segment we're going to do on Quindaro. Have you ever been there, Frank? Wonderful site in Kansas City, or just north of Kansas City. My friends Holly and Kristen Zane are descendants of the founders of Quindaro. They are two of the most amazing people I've ever met. They're sisters. And Holly, I know I'm going to mess this up, is an attorney for the state of Kansas, and I think she is also the counsel for the Wyandot Nation. And she's just an amazing historian and just a wonderful person. So when I did the segment a couple of weeks ago or something on the African American Trail that will be going through Kansas, will be designated sites, I did not include Quindaro in the list because I wanted to do a segment on Quindaro. And Kristen kindly reminded me of that, you know, when she saw the segment and said, oh, this is great, but Quindaro's not in it. And so Quindaro is a really special place, and I've been on bus tours when the Underground Railroad Association met in Kansas a few years ago. Went on the tour and went to Quindaro, and just some very dedicated people involved in interpreting that site and keeping it alive. It's going to be cool. It almost became a landfill. The Kansas State Historical Society shares the story. Located on the south bank of the Missouri River in what is now Kansas City, where Interstate 635 crosses the river, lies Quindaro. The land was part of an area the Wyandot Indians had purchased from the Delaware. When the Wyandot tribe disbanded, the land was divided among tribal members who wished to remain in the area and become U.S. citizens. Among these people were Abelard Guthrie and his wife Nancy Quindaro Brown Guthrie, for whom the town was named. When the Wyandots were removed from Ohio to Kansas in 1843, Guthrie decided to follow Nancy and her tribe to Kansas. They married, and he was adopted into the tribe. The town's founders and first residents included other Wyandots and abolitionists. Because it was close to the Missouri River, Quindaro was an ideal location for helping slaves move to freedom. This was more by design than by chance. The population reached 600 at the height of Quindaro's prosperity. But the boomtown quickly went bust, thanks to a nationwide economic depression and the failure of a campaign to attract a rail line to the town. Many of the young men in the community left to join the Union Army in the Civil War. A few families stayed in the area to continue farming, but the original town site was largely abandoned. After the war, several freed African American slaves moved to Quindaro and other Kansas River towns. Freedmen's University, later chartered as Western University, was established, and its buildings were erected on a bluff west of Old Quindaro. About a century later, in the late 1980s, a company wanted to build a landfill in the area. It encountered an obstacle when an archaeological investigation had to be conducted. Evidence of homes and businesses were found, and a public outcry arose. Artifacts were placed with the Kansas State Historical Society. Passionate supporters, many of whom are descendants of its founders, keep Quindaro alive.
Earlier in my life, I rode bucking horses in rodeos, and my shoulders took such a beating, and that was probably the reason for having several previous surgeries on both shoulders. about a year ago, I decided that I didn't want to have another surgery. And so I contacted Kansas Regenerative Medicine, took their treatment process. It was relatively pain-free. Now, after 8 months, my shoulders have healed to the point where I think I'm probably 90 to 95% of normal. It takes a couple of months to start to see results and feel real progress. That continued to increase gradually until now at approximately 8 months. And I'm extremely pleased. I've got full range of motion. I can lift weights, I can throw, I can do a lot of things that I couldn't do without a lot of pain previously.
Next time you see a beautiful field of corn, reach out and thank the farmers who work tirelessly to raise corn for livestock feed, renewable fuels, and exports to feed a growing world population. The farmers on the Kansas Corn Commission work for Kansas Corn with grower-funded checkoff dollars that support foreign and domestic market development, research, promotion, and education to expand opportunities for Kansas farmers. To learn more, visit kscorn.com.
Soil is the life of a farm, and for 25 years, SureCrop Liquid Crop Nutrition has helped growers produce abundant quality crops while preserving and improving the soils they steward. SureCrop offers complete soil and plant analysis with cropping recommendations, delivery direct to your on-farm storage, and quality crop nutrition custom blended for your field. Choose SureCrop for the assurance of excellence for your soil. Call today or visit their website for more information. This segment brought to you by Kansas Soybean Commission. Progress powered by Kansas farmers. Here's a story by Ron Wilson, director of the Huck Boyd National Institute for Rural Development at Kansas State University. Bangkok, Thailand. A German businessman is building a home and wants mosquito control. He's buying an insect control system from an entrepreneur halfway around the globe. Paul Fredericks is the owner of United Mosquito and Fly Control in Mission, Kansas. He's the entrepreneur who took his system to Bangkok. Paul credits much of his success to his rural upbringing. He grew up on a dairy farm near the unincorporated community of Bremen, Kansas, with a population of perhaps 60 people. We grew up among German Lutheran dairy farmers, Paul said. It was a very close-knit community. It's the kind of place where everybody has known everybody for 7 generations, and everybody has the hymnal memorized. Paul's family, friends, and neighbors provided a strong support system for him and his brother and 2 sisters. During his first 8 years of schooling, he was in a class of 5 at the local Lutheran country grade school. He went to Marysville High School and then to K-State, where he studied agricultural economics. Paul credits 4-H, FFA, and the Kansas State College of Agriculture for providing him tremendous opportunities. I wanted to travel internationally, Paul said. Through FFA, he went to Russia and Hungary. He worked on an agricultural exchange student program between K-State and a university in Mexico, and then earned a Rotary Ambassadorial Scholarship, which paid for his postgraduate degree from the London School of Economics. It was a tremendous experience, and the Rotarians were wonderful, Paul said. After returning to Kansas, he worked as an international trade consultant for a time and did contract sales for an agronomic mineral company. He eventually moved to Kansas City, where he met and married his wife, Liz. He was also approached by another business opportunity, United Mosquito and Fly Control. Ultimately, Paul bought the business. The broker said, "Oh, you're an ag guy, so you'll know all about this." Then I found out this business served the equine industry, and we never had horses growing up on the farm, Paul said. I had no clue. But Paul took to the business and has grown it ever since. Today, United Mosquito and Fly Control has 2 primary business components: fly control for equine and livestock operations, and mosquito control for residential applications. This is a top-of-the-line system, and many of our customers are horse owners, Paul said. We have an automated spray system that is installed in barns, and it really works well. The system saves labor and provides great relief for horses. It uses a natural insecticide that is derived from a very special variety of chrysanthemum flower. Organic options are also available. The mosquito control system similarly allows a person to be out on their deck, for example, without the hassle and worry of biting mosquitoes. United Mosquito and Fly Control serves customers around Kansas City, from Omaha to Springfield, Missouri, and Columbia, Missouri, to Manhattan and beyond. A German businessman with factories around the world was building a home in Bangkok, Paul said. He contacted us and eventually contracted to buy our system. I was able to take my dad, and he helped me install the system over there. My dad's a typical former dairy farmer, Paul said. Ask him to take 2 weeks vacation to go overseas, and he'll say, "No way." But tell him you need him to help you build this system overseas, and he's willing to help. Paul is also renting and farming ground on the edge of urban Kansas City, where investors have purchased land for future growth and development. He has continued to grow the United Mosquito and Fly Control business in the Kansas City area. For more information, go to unitedkc.com. Fort Wallace stood on the frontier in the midst of the Plains Indians Wars on a major stage route and rail line. Beside the 1865 stagecoach station, a modern museum with thousands of artifacts tell that story, like the fossil of a 40-foot plesiosaur is suspended from the ceiling. Located on Highway 40 midway between Hayes and Colorado Springs, the Fort Wallace Museum is as welcome a sight today as the fort itself in the 1860s. Discover the fightingest fort in the West.
This is Eric Stonestreet, and as many of you know, I love my home state of Kansas. In March, Kansas ranchers lost homes, equipment, and thousands of cattle from the largest wildfires in the state's history. Imagine losing all you have in a fire. Not just your house, but your livelihood. Ranchers are beginning to rebuild, but it will take years and tens of millions of dollars to build back herds, fences, and other infrastructure. Today, I'm asking you to help. Donate what you can and show your support to the ranchers of Kansas. Simply go to kansasfires.com. Your donation is tax deductible and will go to those who need it the most.
This segment brought to you by Kansas Grain Sorghum, growers working together. Find out more at ksgrainsorghum.org. Here we are again.
So the new Evel Knievel Museum is open in Topeka. And how exciting. It's going to be a huge draw for tourists. And people ask about the connection to Topeka. Well, it all starts like so many stories with a collector, and a collection and needing a place to put it. And so we're thrilled that they put it right here.
Yeah.
And,
well, there are other Evel Knievel exhibits around the country, but this one is especially unique. I mean, it is something.
And that historic Harley-Davidson building, it used to be the city garage, county garage. It's an awesome limestone building, just awesome. And so then they put on this incredible addition to house these artifacts. And it's more than just artifacts, it's an experience.
Yeah.
And you're going to see that from this film.
I'm Evel Knievel, honey. I'm not supposed to be afraid.
What builds a legacy? Is it our things? Our kids? Maybe it's the people who remember us. Fans and critics and friends. Or maybe it's our paralyzing moments of fear and failure and doubt. Sure, everyone has a legacy, but there are those in every generation that launch far over our heads. And they don't do it just because they're crazy. They do it because building a legacy takes more than handshakes and hashtags. It takes passion, fuel injected with hard work, and polished to a gleam every day and every night. If you do that, you won't have to build your legacy, because others will build it for you.
In life, for me, I would rather take a chance to be something a little extra special. This is something that I feel compelled to do, and I'm going to do it.
Buffalo Bill Cody earned his legendary title in Oakley. Bring the family and come celebrate Oakley's pioneering history and unique geography at two sites, the Buffalo Bill Cultural Center and the Fick Fossil Museum. Cody's statue marks his achievements and welcomes visitors to the Cultural Center. The Fick Fossil Museum houses world-class fossils and artifacts. You'll find Oakley at the hub of U.S. Highways 83 and 40 and I-70. Stop for the legend. Stay for the day. Discover Oakley.
KFRM is one of the largest farm radio stations in the nation, dedicated to informing and entertaining rural listeners from northern Oklahoma to southwestern Nebraska. You can catch KFRM in many ways, of course, 550 on the AM dial, streaming at kfrm.com, or on your smartphone by going to the TuneIn Radio app, or on Ag AM in Kansas on Tuesdays and Facebook every day of the week. KFRM, tune us in. You'll be glad you did.
This segment brought to you by Kansas Farm Bureau, the voice of agriculture. To join today or more information, go to kfb.org or find us on Facebook and Twitter. So here we are in the middle of June already. Good grief.
Seriously?
Huh?
Oh, heck.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
I know.
I must have missed a week or two there somewhere.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Well, we had the story on Evel Knievel, but now that's the rest of the story is
We hope you enjoyed your visit to the Evel Knievel Museum, and now we're going to talk about the artist who did the sculpture of Evel Knievel. And you remember this. Michael is too young. He might see it in the history books or museums or something. When Evel Knievel was on the cover of Sports Illustrated, and again, it was like Elvis. It was like the jumpsuit was popular. Remember, it had the white jumpsuit with the red, white, and blue. You know, the all-American. Well, that's the Evel Knievel that Melissa portrays in her sculpture, and it looks pretty doggone awesome. Like he could just speak to you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
The morphing of Evel Knievel and Elvis, which is pretty much sums up American.
He was the motorcycle Elvis.
He was. There'd never be another one like him.
Yeah.
Melissa Kingman Rau loves the thrill of design and is committed to seeing art translated into beautiful, high-quality artist figures. She is a self-taught artist who has a lifelong interest in many forms of art, but sculpting has become her focus. Her life-sized historic figures depict both historical and legendary characters. Each one is thoroughly researched, utilizing as many historical images as possible. Melissa surrounds herself with as many images as she can while she sculpts each character out of polymer clay. After the faces and hands are sculpted, they are painted with artistic attention to detail. The bodies are then sculpted from metal and wire. The tedious process of creating a life-size figure can take from 10 to 12 weeks. The clothing is thoroughly researched and handmade by her, or original pieces are incorporated. Melissa learned the skill of doll making from her mother, Barbara Kingman, many years ago. Barbara became nationally known as a doll artist, specializing in 17-inch historical figures. Sculpting began in life-size for Melissa after she endeavored to create a life-size Santa for display in her window for Christmas. After that, one thing led to another, and historical characters became her passion. Melissa has completed figures for museums and organizations such as the Amelia Earhart Birthplace and Museum, the Great Overland Station, the Capper Foundation for Handicapped Children, and the Evel Knievel Museum. These figures include Amelia Earhart, Wild Bill Hickok, Dr. James Naismith, Arthur Capper, and Evel Knievel. Her work through this summer will be focused on Mother Teresa. She also creates a line of whimsical figures that she retails to shops from Topeka to St. Louis. Melissa is committed to telling the story of each one of her figures through her art. She wants her audience to understand the character of each person she is creating, what it would be like to meet them in person, what motivated them and interested them, and what made them significant to the history of our great country.
Time to go. I'm Frank.
I'm Deb.
And we'll see you somewhere around
Kansas.
Closed captioning brought to you by Ag Promo Source. Together we grow. Learn more at agpromosource.com.
Hand-churned homemade ice cream. Let me tell you, Kansas is more than tornadoes. We're the best part of Dorothy Street.